An open session of the Roseville Park Board of Education held under the Open Public Meetings Act of the state of New Jersey. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger, local source, the Home News Tribune, the Borough Clerk, school offices, and the district website. Roll call, Ms. Carlstrom.
Here.
Ms. Falcon.
Here.
Mr. Fernandez.
Here.
Mr. Holmes.
Here.
Mr. Hemingway.
Here.
Mr. Langang. Absent. Ms. McLeod-Cato.
Here.
Mr. Miller. Absent. And Mr. Signorello.
Here. Oh, boy.
We have quorum. Please stand for the flag salute. Oh, that's Chris. Oh no, Lauren did that.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Blame me. I didn't do anything.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America
And
to the republic
for
which
which
it
stands
stands
one
one
nation
nation
under God, indivisible,
with liberty
and justice
for all.
Be it resolved that the Roseville Park Board of Education meeting hereby convenes to executive session for discussion of the following subjects. Personnel. It is anticipated that the executive session will take approximately 60 minutes. The board may take action during public session. The board shall return to public session following executive session at approximately 7 p.m. The minutes of the executive session shall be released to the public when the reason for the executive session no longer exists. I need a motion to go into executive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are now in executive session. Good evening. Happy New Year to everyone. I need a motion to return from executive to public.
Make the motion.
I need a second. All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are officially in public session. First, I would like to announce the results of the school board election. For the 3-year term, Brittany Kirkland received 2,422 votes. He's elected. Zachary Infante received 2,273 votes. Elected. Matthew Langang received 1,897 votes. Constance Quintella received 1,994 votes. Elected. Christopher Miller received 1,657 votes. Chad Hemingway received 1,482 votes. At this time, I would like to administer the oath to the newly elected board members. We will be doing this individually in order to maintain social distancing. So I'm going to call Miss Brittany Kirkland to please come up. Do you want to use that? Who do you want to hold it for you? Okay. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of Board of Education am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1, am not disqualified due to conviction of crime or offense listed in NJSA 18A:12-1, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, Ms. Kirk. You can take your seat, and then as you're waiting, you could fill this out. Next, I'm going to call Mitch
Congratulations.
Conte.
Welcome.
Would you like to use? Okay. Raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people. So help me God. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of the Board of Education. Member of the Board of Education. There you go. I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1. I am not disqualified due to conviction of crime or offense listed in NJSA 18A:12-1, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, Mix Infante. Here you go.
Thank you.
And you can have your seat. Last but not least, Ms. Constance Quintella. Do you want to use the Bible, or you can hold it for her? Right hand up. There you go. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people. So help me God. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of Board of Education, am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1, am not disqualified due to conviction of crime or offense listed in NJSA 18A:12-1, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you. Congratulations to the newly elected board members and welcome. First order of business, at this time, I would like to open up the floor for nomination for board president. Are there any nominations for board president?
Are we gonna take roll call for the new board?
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I got excited. Okay, roll call of newly elected board. Ms. Carlstrom,
Here.
Ms. Falcon, Mr. Fernandez,
Here.
Mr. Harms,
Here.
Mix Infante, Ms. Kirkland, Ms. McLeod Cato,
Here.
Ms. Quintella, and Mr. Signorello.
Here.
Now, I would like to open the floor for nomination for board president. Are there any nominations for board president?
Michelle, I nominate Sue Carlstrom for president.
I need a second.
I'll second
I
it.
second it.
Okay.
Ladies first.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I will close nominations for board president. At this time, I will conduct a roll call vote for board president. Roll call, Ms. Carlstrom,
I guess I vote for myself.
Yes.
Yes.
yes, okay. Ms. Falcon, Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Mix Infante, Ms. Kirkland, Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella, and Mr. Signorello.
Yes.
Congratulations, President Carlstrom. Ms. Carlstrom, it's now your turn to run the meeting.
Oh, my goodness. So because we didn't have a chance to speak about this, do I now say we need a nomination for someone for the vice president?
Yep.
Okay, so anyone would like to nominate a vice president?
Madam President, I nominate Marissa Falcon.
Am I allowed to second that?
No, I'll second it.
Do we need a roll call?
Are there any other nominations? Now we need a roll call.
Do you do that, Michelle, or do I do that?
You have to say roll call, please.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Falcon, Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Mix Infante, Ms. Kirkland, Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella, Mr. Signorello,
Yes.
and President Carlstrom.
Yes.
Congratulations, Ms. Falcon.
We continue with our agenda. I must begin where we have the addendum. Ms. Callis, is that correct?
You're going to go through the reorganization first?
Page would that be on?
Page 4,
Do I start with number 3, appointments?
Yes.
correct.
Okay, so number 3, appointments. To appoint the following. And do I read each item?
You could just say the header for each of the items.
Perfect. Then number 4, district policies. Number 5, official district newspaper. Number 6, appointment of board attorney.
Just go to 7. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yes, I know. I had to turn the page and then also unmute. Number 7, appointment of auditor. It's not easy holding earpieces that won't stay on your head either. Number 8, appointment of architect. Number 9, financial investments board operations. Number 10, board committees. Number 11, operational chart. Number 12, annual schedule of meetings. And then number 13, use of facilities and fees. Number 14, inter-district public school choice. Number 15, continuing disclosure agent. And then do we need a motion to approve? Is that what I ask?
Yes.
Make a motion. Second.
Second?
Who
Second.
seconded?
Second.
Okay. Vice President Falcon. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Harms.
Yes.
Ms. Infante. Ms. Kirkland.
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato.
Yes.
Ms. Quintella.
Yes.
Mr. Signorello.
Yes.
And President Carlstrom.
Yes. And at this time, do I present the public participation?
Yes.
That's what I see on my agenda. So
Yes.
we're in the middle of our reorganization agenda items. Only items number 3 to 16 can be discussed during this public participation. Do we have any members of the public who would like to participate, Mrs. Callis?
I see Jackie Garcia. If you can kindly unmute yourself and put your video on and state your name for the record.
Good afternoon. It says that the host has to start my video.
I believe he's working on it.
Hello, good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Board of Education members, and welcome to the newly elected members, and Happy New Year to everyone. I have a comment on agenda item number 10 on page 7 on tonight's agenda. My comment regarding the election or the establishment of item 10 board committees relates to the addition of one more committee that I feel is very vital to the Board of Education's operation. I would like to formally request that the board consider adding an additional committee. A special education committee is vital to the district's ongoing commitment for inclusion on all levels. As many of you have heard me say throughout the year, a special education committee would definitely be something that could go across the matrix of the current committees as they currently stand. This specific committee could study issues affecting the delivery of special education services across our district and could make recommendations to the board on any NJ School Board Association positions on special education, the statute, codes, and also funding. After careful review of the various committees, I can certainly see special education, again, seamlessly flowing through those various committees, from facilities to operations to curriculum, and all in an effort to provide our students and also our teachers with the best opportunity and the most inclusive on all levels, as I mentioned. This committee could also be responsible for supervising and monitoring the implementation for federal requirements for the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So I kindly request that the board consider adding an additional committee to tonight's agenda.
Good evening, Ms. Garcia. Happy New Year.
Good evening, Mr. Garrido. Happy New Year to you as well.
We do have policies on creating committees. Ms. Garcia, I will certainly share those with you. I can send it to you and we can discuss this further. But we do have policies, and obviously the board runs and, on policies. So I will certainly share that policy with you.
Okay.
Okay?
Does that include adding additional committees or specifically for special education?
I would need to review the policy, but I will certainly review it and then share it with you.
Excellent, thank you.
Can you please give me your address? I'm not sure if you stated it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jackie Garcia, 600 Laurel Avenue.
Thank you.
Do we have any other member of the public that wishes to address us?
I have Miss Katie McDermott. If you can kindly state your name and address for the record.
Katie McDermott, 730 Galloping Hill Road. I just want to support Jackie's comment that she just made on the addition of a special education committee. I think it's something that the district needs to have, and we need to really think about how our children in special education are being served. So I would also like to be included when you distribute those policies, Mr. Garrido. So if you can do that, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Any other members of the public?
Hi, yes. I'm sorry, I'm having an issue raising my hand. Francesca Huns. Sorry, I couldn't find the icon here. Hi, everyone. My name is Francesca Hunt. I reside at 620 Larch Street. And I also agree with Katie and Jackie. I am in support, and I do recommend that the Board of Education consider establishing a special education committee specifically. I think that the purpose of this committee can be dedicated to many issues, especially improving the various educational programs that students are in, whether it's self-contained classroom, resource room, in-class support, inclusion. I think that's one area that the committee can, dedicate some time and research to. I also agree, and I feel that, researching best practices in special education, especially when it comes to instruction, instructional strategies, I think the committee could definitely dedicate some time and, discuss best practices in education. But when it comes specifically to special education, a lot of time those students, their needs are a little bit more unique. And they need, various things implemented to help them be more successful. Another, area that I think the committee could help and could really serve a purpose is by reviewing assessment data from the special education population in particularly, specifically identifying areas of strengths, area of weaknesses with the population, identifying any trends, anything you're noticing continually the students are struggling in. I think that a committee would be needed to review and assess this information as well. So, overall, I do agree, I do support, I think the board should consider having a special education specifically to address special education concerns, issues, and things of that nature.
Thank you. Do we have any other members of the public?
I don't see any hands.
At this time, then, we are allowed to close the public portion of this meeting. Thank you. And may I call upon my members if they would like to have any committee reports at this time? Seeing no committee reports at this time, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Superintendent Garrido, who will have his report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, President Kallstrom. Happy New Year to everyone. As we enter a new year, we look with optimism and hope that we are turning the page with the pandemic and with the vaccine in the horizon, obviously already being distributed. We can go back to normal as soon as possible. So I'd like to start my report tonight just updating you on our reopening efforts. As you know, we are in phase one again, which will be full virtual. Our intent is to return to hybrid on January 19th. And when I say the intent is that is all pending on the health office and the matrix that we use to see what the level of transmission is. I do have a meeting with our health officer this Thursday to discuss the metrics, not only regionally in Union County, but also in Roselle Park. So that will be a conversation that I will have with her this Thursday. As soon as I meet with her, I will certainly update the parents and I will update the community on our intentions to return to hybrid. Roselle Park has 4 phases. I just want to review that with you as I continue with the update. First phase is, of course, full-time virtual, which we started the year, and in October we went into phase 2, which is the hybrid instruction model, where 50% of the students are in school for 2 days, 50% of the students are home for 2 days, and then we switch groups. So it's an A and B group, and then of course we have the students that are home remote, based on the parents' wishes to have them remote. Phase 3 is to enter a full day of hybrid from 8:30 to 3 o'clock with lunch. That is really our goal right now. Everything in the plan is fluid and all the dates are tentative because we don't know where this virus is going or where it's continuing to go. So right now our plan is short term to have everyone come back in a hybrid model on January 19th. Phase 4 is obviously to come back fully in person. Every day of the week, all students will be back in a normal schedule. Again, as I mentioned, this is a very tentative plan because we don't know where it's going, and the virus really is what dictates our plan. So that is something that I just want to make sure that you're aware of. On Friday, I'm going to send out a letter to the community with my conversation, after my conversation with the health officer, and the intention whether we still are able to return to hybrid or we must continue to be in a remote or virtual instruction full time. That is the update. That is all I have for you. I will certainly continue to update the board and continue to update the public as we continue to navigate these challenges that are in front of us. But one thing that I can reassure our community, our students, our parents, is that we will always put the health and safety as our #1 priority. We would never put in jeopardy anyone's health and safety. I and we, Roselle Park, make the decisions of remote or hybrid based on the information from the medical experts. And I just want to make sure that everyone understands that. Also, I just want to clarify, you've seen the parents and the board members, you've seen letters that are going out. Those are required letters every time there is a confirmed positive case of COVID-19. I am required to send out a letter. For obvious reasons, I cannot share more information because then I will be violating federal law if there's any specific information that I sent out. So you see a very generic letter, and the letter says there has been a confirmed positive individual in the district. And you will also see that the health office and our nurses are doing contact tracing, and those that have been exposed will be notified individually. That's all that we can send out. So just a little clarification. I know those letters go out sometimes. You are a little frustrated because no more information is shared. There's a reason for that. I cannot share more than is in that letter. The second item that I want to report with for you is item, and I'll check as I've always, item number 15, 16. Policy 16 is an amendment to our grading policy and our student performance policy. And the amendment clearly, it's very basic, but it's a very critical amendment. As we all know, our students are going through a very difficult, challenging period in their lives. This is going now into 10 months of this pandemic. We have seen students, the board had asked me to review our policies and our number of failures and so forth. And obviously I thoroughly did that. And, you know, a few things did come out from that. There were quite a few number of students failing the first marking period. And, you know, we understand that, you know, students need to be resilient, just like we all can. However, there are so many challenges that are facing our students. There's obviously the social, emotional, and the mental health. There are students that are home with very little support that need to, and we found out through some of the analysis, that need to care for younger siblings because the parents have to go to work. There are students that are having difficulties with independent. They need more support, however, they don't have it. You know, this is the reason. So, you know, the two major amendments to the policy is students will be or shall be permitted to make up work and be provided with adequate extensions to complete assignments. That is something that we felt it was necessary. We do understand, and we do certainly applaud the efforts of those that are able to work independently, or they have more support at home, because we do have students who are doing an incredible job working and keeping up with the work, but we also have a larger number of students that are not. That is one of the parts of the amendment that I think it's very important to give students the opportunity to make up work before the end of the marking periods. And the other one is to allow for a grade of 60 to be the lowest grade that will be recorded on the report card. And you know, that is something that I discussed with the administration and with staff. And you know, the last thing we want to have students is feeling defeated after the first marking period or the second marking period without even a chance to pass their classes. So we wanted to make sure that through the support that we are going to give them, and I'll get to that in a minute, with the support that we're going to give them, gives them an opportunity, third or fourth marking period, to catch up. And hopefully, they do take that opportunity very seriously and at least have a chance to pass. So those are the two major. This amendment will be in place till the end of the school year. Hopefully, we can go back to our, you know, as normal as we possibly can, with more in-class support, with more teacher support. Remote, yes. You know, the teachers are working very hard to make sure our students are having the best instruction that we can possibly have. However, they are not performing to the level that we feel. Even students that we have felt, you know, because again, we did a very clear analysis of these students, the students that you know, were doing average to very well before the remote learning started. You know, we're not the only district amending the policies. You know, I did do some research with other districts, and you know, this is something that other districts are doing. It goes, you know, it really runs the whole gamut, you know, to really exempting grades and just doing a pass-fail or what have you without numerical grades, all the way to giving opportunities, not counting homework assignments, not counting. So we felt that we do fall right in the middle of many of those, not too much, not too little. But I just want to let you know, there is another link to this that I wanted to discuss. Beginning in February, we are starting already to assess students, and we're going to assess, a letter's going to go out very soon, using a benchmark assessment to find out students who, dropped and there's a gap, and as we compare to last year's assessments, or those students that have gained, because some we have gained. And we are going to begin in February. And again, a letter will be going out from our Director of Instruction and Curriculum. We are going to start targeted instructional classes beginning February 1 to offer opportunities for students to have small group support instruction. I think that will be very helpful. That will be something that we feel our students need it. That would take, a hybrid approach as well. So students will be able to participate after school in these programs. Teachers will, obviously, we did get funding through CARES Act, and part of the funding is to assist and support struggling students. And that is exactly what we're doing. A second part of that is we are looking and we are putting together a plan for wellness and social emotional. We're going to have wellness days, specifically, more at the high school level, because those students, all students are struggling. But, as we do our analysis of middle school and high school, they're really having the most difficulty. Obviously, at the elementary level, there's a little bit more in terms of support, from the parents. So, I just wanted to make sure that the public and the board understands that we are taking this seriously. We are putting together plans that will assist students as we hopefully, come to an ending of this pandemic, and, whether it's September or even a month in, at the end of the year, May or June, we can come back to some type of normalcy, and then we can really target those students and give them the support that they need, whether it's through summer programs, tutorial programs, or after school programs once they're back here. So I just wanted to report on those two items. I think they're important for students. There is a lot of professional, obviously there are a lot of studies already that have been made about the pandemic, the isolation for students, and the impact that it has on them. It's already out there. There's already studies, and I'm sure way more studies. And, I keep telling our counselors that, not only now, which they are, however, the impact of this through, post-traumatic stress that we're going to see in the next year or two are going to be, very severe. And we're going to be prepared to make sure that we pick up the pieces for those students and we can catch them up again. That doesn't mean, and I just want to make sure that, we're trying to dilute, our curriculum or rigor. Yes, we have made some, again, some changes and some revisions there as well, because we needed to. We can move as fast as we would if we had students 5 days in person as we are remotely or hybrid. So we have made, however, our challenges continue to be there. We continue to hold high expectations for our staff, and we want to make sure that, everyone learns, as best as they can at this time. And the instruction continues to be as rigorous as we possibly can. But as I've been saying from the beginning of this, 10 months ago, there's no right or wrong. We will continue to work hard to make sure that we provide our students not only academically, but also social emotionally. And that is our goal. So I'm very hopeful that come February, we can, with these targeted support, small group classes, we can help our students catch up as quickly as possible. And I did not want to be remiss. I do want to congratulate our 3 new members. Ms. Scalise and I had the opportunity to meet with them back in December, and we found all 3 to be extraordinary people who are going to be incredibly positive contributors to our board. So I'm looking forward to working with all 3 of them, and congratulations. Also, congratulations, President Karlstrom, on your nomination, and Vice President Falcon on your nomination. I'm looking forward to working with both of you as well to make Roselle Park, with the entire board, continue to thrive and be the best little kept secret in the state of New Jersey. So thank you, Mrs. Karlstrom. That's my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Garrido. Now we'd like to return to the agenda, and number 16, policy amendment to approve the amendment of the following policies: evaluation of individual student performance, promotion and retention policy, and regulation. At this time, do I need a motion to approve this? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Ms. Infante, Ms. Kirkland, Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella, Mr. Signorello,
Yes.
and President Karlstrom.
Yes.
Okay.
Now we're going to move to personnel, agenda items 17 through 24. Mrs. Callis, do I have to add that one?
And add the addenda items 1 and 2.
Okay. So number 1 is technology intern, to approve the following part-time position. Number 2, language translation, to approve compensation for the following staff member for language translation as needed for the 2020-2021 school year. Then we move to 17, staff appointments. Okay, to approve the following staff appointment. Number 18, revision of middle school extracurricular advisors 2020-2021. Number 19, leave of absence request, to approve the following leave of absences. And we have several beginning with letter A through R. And then 20, leave of absence extension request, to approve the following leave extension request. 21, staff resignation, to accept the following resignation. And we have 2 people there. 22, instructional support stipends, to approve the following staff to serve in professional development stipend roles for the 2020-2021 school year. 23, curriculum writing, to approve the following staff for curriculum writing at the hourly contractual rate, $34.83 an hour, up to 25 hours each. 24, addition of Title III ESL support program hours, to approve additional hours for staff for ESL support at an hourly rate of $34.83 per hour.
Make a motion.
Oh, we're up to that. We need a motion.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Vice President Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms, Ms. Infante, Ms. Kirkland,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella,
Yes.
Mr. Signorello,
Yes. Yes.
and President Carlstrom.
Yes. Now we continue with education. I have item number 3. The superintendent recommends harassment, intimidation, bullying incidents. Then we move on to number 25, education program, to approve the following education program for 2020-2021 school year. We have A, B, and C under bedside instruction. We have number 26, high school athletic schedule, to approve the Roselle Park High School athletic schedule for season 2 starting on January 11th, 2021 for the following sports: high school basketball, high school girls basketball. The first one was boys basketball, and the third is bowling. Number 27, postponement of NJ CUSAC review process.
Ms. President Carlstrom,
Yes,
that number 27 was pulled from the agenda.
it was. Okay.
We
Sorry.
need,
Scratch that. You didn't hear it.
we also need a roll call for the education section.
Okay, so
I need
we're
a
going
motion.
to remove 27, but may I have a motion for those items that I read prior to 27?
Make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Ms. Infante,
Yes.
Ms. Kirkland,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella,
Yes.
Mr. Signorello,
Yes.
and President Carlstrom.
Yes. Okay, now we move on to business. And the superintendent recommends item number 4, budget transfer, to approve the following budget transfer. And then I move on to 28, I hope.
27.
27. Okay. The 27 that you said was pulled?
No,
There's another 27. So
why don't you just read the titles since your numbers are off?
Okay. So the next item I have is monthly certification.
Correct.
Okay, so it's no longer number 28. Then we have approval of bills. And then we have approval of minutes, December 8th, 2020. And then settlement agreement, to approve one decision approving settlement between the board and parents of student blah, 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 blah. Number 32, bus evacuation drills, to acknowledge bus evacuation drills for all non-transported students in accordance with NJAC 6A:27-11(2) on December 18th, 2020. Next, use of building and grounds, to approve the following use.
Ms. Carlstrom, that was pulled too.
Okay, so I printed this out this afternoon. I didn't realize there's a new one that came out. So we'll have to improve upon that next meeting if it's virtual. Okay, so that's pulled. Is district contract still there?
Yes, it is.
Okay, to approve the contract with E-Rate Online LLC to provide USF filing services for E-Rate funding for the 2020 year. And at this time, do we need a motion?
Yes.
I'm making a motion to approve.
Second.
Second. And roll call, please.
Vice President Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Ms. Infante,
Yes, with an abstention on numbers 28 and 29.
Ms. Kirkland,
Yes, with an abstention on numbers 28 and 29, approval of bills and approval of minutes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella,
Yes, with an abstention on number 28 and 29.
Mr. Signorello,
Yes.
and President Carlstrom.
Yes. At this time, we move along with the agenda for continuing business. And it's now the new business section. Is this where I ask if the board members have any new business to discuss? Okay, so
Did we have continuing business?
Yes,
Yes.
there is none.
There is none. Oh,
There is none. Okay. So then we can go to the public participation now.
Hold on.
No?
Hold on.
no. New business.
Okay, new business. I thought you said there was nothing to discuss.
No, when
That was for continuing business.
Oh, continuing and new. Gotcha.
All right, so I have new business.
Good, good.
So short and sweet, I like to just let everybody know. With regret, I sent an email to Mrs. Callis and Mr. Garrido of my resignation effective tomorrow. I will be sworn in as councilman at large tomorrow. And I just want to say I'm going to miss being part of the school board for the last 4 years. We've done a lot in the last 4 years. I'm going to miss it. I just want to let you know I'm going to be staying close. I asked the mayor if I could be the liaison to the school board. So I'm going to be close to the school board. Short and sweet, we've done a lot, and to all the board members the last 4 years, but the last year, 2020, wow, what a year. I just want to commend Mr. Garrido, Mrs. Callis, and all the school staff, where they've gone through for the last 9.5, 10 months. And it's going to continue probably a half a year. I just short and sweet, this COVID has hit home briefly between my sister and my whole family. Almost 9 of us have contacted this, and just with the internally, short and sweet. So it's a serious scenario, and be careful. And that's all I have to say. And Mr. Garrido, if you could just update the folks what they need to do to fill my vacancy. I assume just send an email to you, but I'll let you have the show. So thank you so much for everybody. And Mr. Garrido, just let the folks know how the board goes through the process of filling my seat. Thank you.
Mr. Garrido, before you respond to Mr. Signorello, if we can have a motion and a second to accept Mr. Signorello's resignation.
With regrets, I accept Mr. Signorello's resignation.
Same, second that.
I'm going to do a roll call vote now. Vice President Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Mix Infante,
Yes.
Ms. Kirkland,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella,
Yes.
Mr. Signorello,
Yes.
and President Carlstrom.
Yes.
Floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Callis. Mr. Signorello, you will be missed on the board as well. I want to thank you for your support during the last 4 years, but especially this past year, as difficult as it was. You were an incredible support to the superintendent as well as the business administrator and the entire administration. So I want to thank you personally. In terms of the board opening, tomorrow we'll be posting on the website that there is an opening on the board, and anyone that would like to be considered as a nominee for the board, they can write a letter of interest. We will have the specific information on. What will happen then is the board will have an opportunity to interview the members that have applied to be on the board, and then there will be a vote by the entire board on the candidate that they would like to replace Mr. Signorello. There is a time frame that we have to abide by, and that is 65 days from the day of resignation. Mr. Signorello's day of resignation will be tomorrow. So the clock starts taking tomorrow to replace Mr. Signorello on the board. But that is, if anyone is interested, please look at the, go to the website tomorrow. There'll be specific information on what to do. But typically it's a letter of interest that you will need to send to Mrs. Callis and to me. So that will be the process that we will use. Thank you.
Am I back on? Okay, so we did continuing business and new business. Now it's time for the public participation. And each member of the public may speak a maximum of 3 minutes. Do we have anybody waiting in the wings?
We have Ms. Kristen Crawford, if you can kindly state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Kristen Crawford, 426 Maplewood Avenue. Thank you very much. I just wanted to congratulate the new Board of Ed members. I've worked with Constance many years on Aldine PTO, so I'm very excited to have her as a member of the board, and everybody else. I hope to get to know you a little bit more. I wanted to just speak on item 16 a little bit, the policy. Mr. Garrido and I actually had a good conversation earlier in the week about the policy. We all understand that there have been many challenges during this pandemic. It's nothing any of us have ever seen, and especially in education. It's turned us on our heads. And I'm curious because I know that our instruction is very different from the spring, because spring was very different to now. And I'm curious as to why the policy is in place now, and we didn't have a similar policy in the spring when we're doing a lot more instruction and we have kids in person. So that was my first question. My second question is, we talk a lot about the supports we're going to be giving to students and to teachers. I'm curious about some specific things about the supports that we're going to give teachers, because I'm in education myself. I love kids. We never want to see kids fail. And it's disheartening as parents to see kids fail. It's disheartening as teachers to see kids fail. But I also think that, as a Board of Ed and as administrators, we need to support the teachers and we need to support the kids. It's not the kids who have failed. I think we failed them a little bit by not giving them the proper supports. It's January and we're putting a policy in place because we see all these kids failing. I really think that some of the data should have been looked at the end of October, to be completely honest. And I think that, some supports should have been given to those families and to those students earlier than now that we're looking at these total numbers and we're looking at these grades. I'm not a grade hungry person, but it is disheartening. And I just wanted some clarification about the grades specifically. If a student is not handing any work in, they will pass. Is a D passing? A 60 is a D, so it's passing? It's still a fail.
Still fail.
Okay, so that's the lowest grade.
That's the lowest, right?
So if a student is, then we are going to give them that 60 on a report card, first marking period, second marking period. If they're still not continuing, what things are we going to put in place for them for third and fourth marking period, other than that small group instruction? So those are my 3 questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Crawford, and I do appreciate the discussion we had earlier in the week. It was actually a very good discussion, and I appreciate you've been in several committees that we've been here, and you certainly have been a resource for our district. In terms of the timing of the amendment, the change in policy, yes, we should have. Back in the spring, back in April, May, June, teachers made all kinds of arrangements. It was really not a written policy that was out there. That the pandemic, we went to virtual immediately, so there was really the teachers were doing everything they could do, and you're absolutely right. Back in October, we should have looked at the data. However, we started looking. We got those November report cards, and we were shocked. And absolutely, I agree with you. It should have been done earlier, but like you said, it's always better to have it done than not at all. And for the remainder of the year, we will have that policy. In terms of teacher support, we do train our teachers. We do support them. We have placed people as a mentor and technology support staff that they are in the classroom supporting teachers with their Zoom lessons, with all the different aspects of instruction. The mentors, I think, are going to be an incredible support. We've had from the elementary all the way to the high school, so they're also getting involved in the humanities, which will be social studies, of course, math and science. We will support in that level as well. And can you just refresh my memory, the third question?
Yes, so my question is, what about those students who have continued to not hand in work, first marking period, second marking period, we're giving them the opportunity to re-hand it in, which I think is great, but I also think that puts some pressure on teachers, to be completely honest, because it's a continuation of a lot of work for them.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. We are working on giving teachers some time to work, because you're right. They might get the last marking period, they might get, hundreds of makeup work to do. So what we're doing is, and you're going to see most likely, there will be some kind of timeline where different grades will need to be bringing in, whatever makeup work they need to bring in. But we are working on a schedule where we will give teachers the time to work on these things, where there's a little bit of flexibility or so, but that's going to be happening.
Great, thank you. I just had one more request. Sure. Please give a little SEL to your teachers too, because their jobs have been shaken up like a snow globe and everything's all out of place. So I think that they need some SEL themselves on top of the students.
And we started that back in November. We brought in an expert on post-traumatic stress and anxieties. And Mr. George Scott, who did a wonderful job. We're going to continue to work with him. As a matter of fact, I have a scheduled meeting with him to see how he can work from now for the remainder of the year with both the staff, the administration, and of course, working with the students as well. So yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have any other member of the public who wishes to speak at this time?
Jackie Garcia, if you could kindly state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Jackie Garcia, 600 Laurel Avenue. Good evening, board members, and again, congratulations to all of the newly elected members. I quickly wanted to take a couple minutes to introduce the Roselle Park Parents of Student with Disabilities group. I would like to say it's more of a reignition of a previous group, along with myself, Katie McDermott, and also Francesca Hunt. For those that may not be familiar with the group, this is a Special Education Parent Advisory Group, also known as CPAG. Each Board of Education shall ensure that every Special Education Parent Advisory Group is in place within the district, and I believe we did have one at some point. So as everyone was mentioning tonight, these times are unprecedented, and it is our responsibility, I feel, as a parent, to work alongside with our teachers and our board to let you know what's working and what's not working. Specifically, I'll just say Ms. Nicole Stevens is by far an amazing teacher. And I say that because I have turned to her many times and we've worked together to just adjust a few things as we are going through this pandemic, at home, virtually, and all sorts of things. So I know that it's possible. And myself, along with a few other parents, would like to formally announce the development of reignition of this group so that we could also have the support of the board, the principals, the vice principals, and also the local PTAs. Our first meeting is January 21st, tentatively, and we have been working alongside with other CPAC groups just to ensure that we are, working alongside with the federal legislations and codes and New Jersey standards, and just guidelines on, how to create this parent advocacy group that I think is needed for not only our families, but also for all of you who may not necessarily have special needs all the time, in your realm of expertise, let's just say. So I just quickly wanted to run through some of our mission statement as it stands today, and just open it up to also other parents that are listening. But just as an overall, our group's mission is to facilitate communication between parents, students, and also Special Services Administration and the Board of Education members, specifically to strengthen our district's quality of special education programs. As you all know, I've sat in multiple meetings and board meetings, and just trying to understand really the inner workings of how we can strengthen these services for our children, and to support our parents that are in desperate need of help. Also, this is also going to be a group that isn't only limited to parents and children with different abilities, but it's open to everyone who is interested in all grade levels, kindergarten through 12. And it's also to promote inclusion and acceptance of students with special needs in the school, and also within extracurricular activities. We have developed a flyer, which we are hoping to finalize in the short coming days and distribute that, along with some tentative meeting dates for the rest of the year. But I quickly wanted to just let you all know of the email that we can be reached at. It's roselleparksepag@gmail.com. So it's roselleparksepag@gmail.com. We also have a number where you could reach us, and I'll give that to you right now. That's 908-299-6446. You can call us and leave a message, and either myself, Katie, or Francesca will return your messages. Again, the establishment or the reignition of this group is, again, just to work alongside with the board, our teachers, and our parents. And we also offer services in English and also in Spanish. So I really wanted to just announce the establishments of the CPAC group in Roselle Park, and we are really looking forward to working with you all as in a collaborative manner to really help our kids, because they're very unique issues with learning, behaviors, facilities that I can go on and on, but to keep things short and sweet, we really value your input, and we really look forward to working alongside with all of you. Thank you.
Mr. Garrido, can I say something? Thank you, Ms. Garcia, for your words. I'm just interested. I know earlier you said you had suggested the committee for special education, and I just wonder, now that you're talking about the reestablishment of this organization, maybe, and maybe Ms. Osborne can make this clear for me, maybe we can have a liaison to this group because that might be easier to facilitate rather than creating a new committee, just so that you'll have a board member be able to attend a meeting, or just be the liaison between your group and the Board of Education.
So as Mr. Garrido was sort of alluding to before, when you talk about the formation of a board committee, there is a policy on what steps need to happen before that can occur. So that's his reference to the policy in terms of us saying we have to take a look at it to see how it can happen. And then of course, it would go to board vote to determine whether or not that policy was going to be created or not. Separate and aside from whether or not the board chooses to establish and create another committee of the board always has the ability to appoint a liaison to any other outside group. And that would be done by a motion and a second, and then board approval.
Right.
Ms. Falcone, I appreciate your comment, because in discussing this with our other group members, we are looking to again work alongside with the board and also the district, and be able to bring up maybe solutions that we see that work. And as I was mentioning, we're doing that on a day-to-day at home. And it is proving to help, especially our kids who are now virtual, who need that para or that one-to-one. So, you know, I'd love to kind of take this conversation offline with our group and maybe a few members of the board and perhaps look at the policies and look at what strategy really would benefit all, you know, the students and also the parents. Because I do know that the CPAC group is independent from the board. So just kind of keeping in mind the confidentiality with some of the parents and, you know, their comments to us. I just want to make sure that we, you know, respect all of the privacies along that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
At this time, are there any other members of the public who would like to speak?
Yes, there's Katie McDermott. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Katie McDermott, 730 Galloping Hill Road. I would also, I have a couple questions, but first I would also like to sing the praises of Mrs. Stevens. She is also my son's teacher, and she has done an exemplary job during these unprecedented times. She has given us as parents amazing support, and she has innovated and adapted to how she delivers instruction. And I think she could be a model for other teachers in the district. I mean, the things that she has done to incorporate those students that are virtual and those students that are in person has been amazing. So anyways, Jackie saying that made me want to sing her praises in front of all of you because she really is an amazing teacher. I have two questions. One is for Superintendent Garrido. How do special education students fit into the plan you will be implementing to help struggling students? I mean, I think we can all agree that they are among the hardest hit population, both in terms of regression academically and regression emotionally. So are you having discussions about compensatory services? Are you considering extended ESY, not only in terms of weeks, but in terms of hours of instruction during the day of ESY? And then I have a question on agenda item 19. Can someone please let me know or explain the change from listing the names of leave requests to only listing ID numbers? Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McDermott, I certainly can. We are in the process of creating these classes, so that's certainly something that I am going to bring to the administration about the number of hours for the special ed. But yes, special education students will certainly be afforded the opportunities to attend these classes as well. We don't know the actual concept in terms of times, days, and so forth, but we'll be working on that. But I certainly will bring that to the administration.
And then on agenda item 19, if somebody could let me know why there was a change from listing names to listing only ID numbers on leave requests.
So the reason that was made was to protect the confidentiality of some of the employees that are going out on leave. And that's basically what it is.
I just want to have a comment on that. On more than one occasion, I have found out about staff changes that affect my child via Board of Education agenda and not from school personnel. So while I respect everybody's confidentiality, I think that this might be a step in the wrong direction in terms of transparency and communication. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the audience that would like to speak?
Sorry. I see. Oh, I do see someone.
Francesca.
Francesca Hunt, if you could kindly state your name and address for the record.
Hello again. My name is Francesca Hunt. I reside at 620 Larch Street. I had a question about the what's happening in all the schools as far as instruction. I know at Aldine, pre-recorded lessons are still happening, but I've also been made aware that other schools in district are doing live instruction. So I'm a little bit confused of how delivery of instruction is happening. Why is it different by school? And shouldn't it be, the same thing for the entire district?
Absolutely.
If someone could clarify or explain why some schools are doing pre-recorded at the elementary level, but then the other schools are doing live.
No, actually, Mrs. Hunt, all three elementary schools are doing the exact same thing. They are all using pre-recorded lessons, and they are using live lessons as well. So it's a combination of both. But I can assure you that all three, because all three elementary principals are working together on the instructional, the instructional model for each school. So they do work together, they collaborate, and the instruction mimics each other's school. I don't know where you've heard that from. I can certainly, look into it, but, my understanding is they work together and collaborate to make sure that it's consistency across the three schools.
Okay, and as far as the time of live instruction, has there been any criteria for the amount of minutes that the students are supposed to be receiving live instruction per day, or does that vary by the school?
No, actually, I think that varies more by grade level, but I certainly can get that information to you, a schedule. But a schedule was formed way back in September, actually in August, for the live instruction and the times that they had. But, we can resend that to you if necessary.
Yes, no, I'm just concerned, especially about the performance. As you mentioned, the big benchmark assessments that the district gave, there has been a dip in student performance, and I've seen that myself as a parent. And I think one factor is because of the live instruction, having so much pre-recorded lessons from whatever March until now, you're really relying on parents to teach the kids these skills that they have to know by the end of that grade, these New Jersey, Common Core, standards. So, I'm just concerned as a parent that I want to make sure that my children are receiving enough live instruction, that they are getting the skills and strategies taught from the teacher. Because that's important as well. And that's going to, either increase or decrease their academic performance. So I was just curious on, how many minutes was there, a certain number of minutes, for live instruction. I know there's small group going on, I know they do 20 minutes of small group a day, but that's 20, 30 minutes, on the weeks that they're remote for 2 weeks. I'm not sure why teachers can't do some more live instruction when they're remote. They're still pre-recorded during remote. So there are just a few concerns I have about, pre-recorded versus live. And listen, they're young kids. No one expects, elementary students, middle school students to sit for 5 hours, 4 hours a day at the computer. But I do think there could be some more consideration and time dedicated to live instruction.
Thank you. We'll definitely take that under consideration, but thank you, Ms. Hunt. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
At this time, do we have any other members of the public that wish to speak?
I see no hands.
Is it safe to say that we can close the public portion at this time? Okay. And since we don't need to go into closed session again.
Make a motion, we close the meeting.
That's what I was hoping for. That's what I think I see next. It does say adjournment on one of my pages, so.
Good luck.
I'll second it.
Good luck to the new board members.
Thank you,
Welcome
Mr.
aboard.
Signorello.
Congratulations to the new board members. Have a good night, everyone.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Signorello.
Take care, Zach.